All right, so today starts kind of an exciting thing, I think anyway. That's what teachers do, think weird things are exciting. But we're going to start learning about reading strategies so that we can start reading books, articles, short stories, and be getting the most out of them. You've been hearing about reading strategies since you were probably in first grade or as far as you can remember. The first one we're going to talk about is questioning. So as we are watching this video, I will be stopping and asking you questions. And I'd like you to respond below. Like, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to push this out to you, but there will be a spot for you to respond and where I want you to respond. So let's get started.
Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is to not stop questioning. Albert Einstein. Welcome to Reading Strategies 101. On today's show, we're going to be discussing questioning. You may be asking yourself, why questioning? There's nothing wrong with my reading. Well, questioning can better enhance the reader's ability to connect with a text. Good readers generate questions before, during, and after reading. They refer explicitly to the text being read to answer questions, and they include evidence from reading within writing and speaking.
So I want us to get into the habit of doing this, that before we start actually reading, to be asking the questions. Okay, so think about, where do those questions come from? If I haven't read anything yet, where would those questions come from? Okay, so that's before. As you are reading, in the middle, okay, you are asking yourself questions as you're reading. Maybe it's predicting, maybe it's thinking, I wonder what's going to happen next, but that happens when you're reading. And then questions that we have at the end, it could be questions that don't have answers to them, or it could be questions that do have answers, but we just need to find the evidence in the text.
Question: before, during, and after reading a text. Well, how do I do that? Try journaling. Journaling can help you keep track of some of the questions that you may have before, during, and after reading a text.
So maybe you've taken notes in a notebook. We have our devices, it's all very digital, so you could be jotting notes down on your iPad as you're reading something. In the past, I've had kids use sticky notes. They like to put the sticky notes within the pages as they're reading. So those are just some options for you. You want to figure out what works the best for you to be taking those notes. And the purpose of doing that is to improve your reading, to help you with your understanding and make you become a better reader.
Research supports the fact that if you activate prior knowledge about a content area that you're reading about, you're more likely to understand and comprehend what you're reading. Keeping a journal is a really good idea. One of my favorite genres in all of reading is alternative history. I love to make predictions about what could have happened, what should have happened. I love putting myself in other people's shoes. Making predictions is a consequence, it's an effect of asking questions before, during, and after reading a text. Generating questions before, during, and after a text can lend itself to thick and thin questions. What am I talking about here? There's nothing wrong with asking thin questions. Those are questions that require usually a one-word answer, such as who, what, when, or where. True connection to a text occurs when you ask thick questions. Those are questions that require much more than a one-word answer. Those questions are why and how. Thick questions can be inferential, which cause a reader to dive deep in a text, to read between the lines, if you will.
So inferential, if you think about inferential, what is the base word or the root word of that? That is infer. Okay, we've been making inferences for a long time, and that's one of the strategies that we use, is to make inferences. It helps us dig deeper into the text.
This is a great opportunity to introduce a new vocabulary word to you. Implicit is a synonym of inference. To make an inference means to read between the lines. An implicit question forces a reader to read between the lines, to find an answer that may not be written explicitly within a text.
So now that you're sixth graders, if you haven't been doing this before, you will be doing more of this. So yes, we still ask questions that can specifically be found in the text for comprehension, whatnot, but we dig deeper into those meanings that aren't directly spoken or written, implicit.
While finding the answers to explicit questions can be quite simple, finding the answers to implicit questions can require much effort. Don't give up. Explicit questions have explicit answers. They're answers that are found directly within the text.
Now, I know this is a type of question that most of you, or some of you, a lot of my students would rather have explicit question and answers. It can be found in the text. You know for sure if it's a right or wrong answer. It's easy almost. But as we get older, we need to be able to look in the text and to analyze what we've read to make those, get those deeper questions and the deeper meanings.
Reading requires us to be detectives, finding answers to both implicit and explicit questions. If you're asked by your teacher to write an opinion about subject matter that you're reading from your text, you could be like a detective and find evidence to support your opinion. In summary, you need to understand that readers make leaders. You need to question, and you need to question effectively. Question before, during, and after reading a text. It gives you purpose, it gives you meaning, it helps you connect yourself to your text. Thank you so much for watching. We'd love for you to connect with us.
All right, so our lesson today, as I said, was just a very quick one on, I'm trying to get my face up here. Oh, there we go. Just a very quick one on asking questions and the importance of asking questions. So now that you've watched this, I've asked you questions. I've asked you to think about that. I'm going to have you respond below this text box or this video box so that you can write your thoughts about the questions that I asked. If you don't remember, I was talking about different things about questioning. Go back in the video and rewatch. Okay. You also, I should have said this earlier, you can be taking notes as you are watching as well. Okay, so questioning is how we start. We will continue on with making inferences and making those text connections with writing summaries and things like that.